This is Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Your RV guide for Oklahoma and beyond. Give us a call at 918-460-KRMG. Now, let's hit the road.
Good afternoon and welcome to Camping with Wade's RV. It's 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk, as we continue our Ask the Experts weekend on this Saturday afternoon. My name is Skyler Cooper. Thanks for being with us. If you'd like to talk about camping and RVs today, make sure you join the show. You can text us. The number is 70123. Start that text with KRMG and then your question to 70123. You can also call us, 918-460-KRMG, 460-5764. I'm joined, as always, by Willie D. with Wade's RV. Willie D., how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great. It's actually kind of a different weekend because I'm actually back at Wade's RV. The last couple weeks, I've been up in OKC, not for the new store, which if you hadn't heard, we are opening a new location up in Oklahoma City. It's actually going to be in the Goldsby area. So if you're over there, look forward to that coming soon to you. But I've been up there at the AQHA World Show the last 2 weeks, if you've been tuning in. And the World Show is currently shut down due to COVID-19 for visitors. And so the Sport Chassis guys, they've been working that during the week. And so I figured I'd just come on back down to the homeland and hang out at Wade's RV. And so I'm going to be out here until 5 p.m. today. And if you're looking for a great deal, let me tell you, we got them. And so we'll get into a couple of those deals later on in the show. But I am very excited to be back at the store. I actually got my RV out today and was doing a little bit of work on it. I hadn't had it up and running in quite some time. So I was actually disappointed in myself. Many times whenever I actually go out RVing, I am very fortunate and I get to use RVs that Wade lets us use at the store. Sometimes it's used ones, sometimes it's new ones that we use for commercials, and we take them out and get to shoot with them and play around with them and stuff. But me, myself, I actually own a 2000s Ashro conversion van, and it's actually RVIA certified. And I had that over here at my house, and I just hadn't had it up and moving around. And so I had the batteries charged in the last couple of days. I fired it up at the store, and I just have been going through the systems, make sure everything's, firing on all cylinders, as they say, make sure all my electrical connections and things are going good, because it's camping season. This is my favorite time to be out there and be out there enjoying the it's kind of a day like this.
I think we're having a little bit of a connection issue with Willie D there. This is Camping with Wade's RV on KRMG. If you want to join the show, text us at 70123. Willie D., are you back?
Let's see. Can you hear me now,
Yes,
Skyler?
sir.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I was saying this is my favorite time of year to camp, and that's exactly why I was getting my RV out and I was going through all my different systems. I am more of a fan of the Class B style RVs. We were going through it actually with some of the folks from the station earlier this week. So we have one in on trade right now. It's a 2019 Winnebago Era, and this thing is slick. It has some of my favorite cabinetry. It has a really nice bathroom in there, and the luxury all the way around. It has everything that you'd want. It's got a macerator. It's got a Truma hot water and heating system. It's on that Mercedes-Benz chassis. It's only 24 foot long, and it's basically a really fancy version of what I have. And so we have one of those, and so I came in and I brought my RV into Wade's RV so we could go through, get everything tuned up, and I hope everyone is out there using their RV and enjoying it this weekend, because it is just perfect for that. With just a little bit of this rain and the cold weather, it makes it perfect for starting out a campfire and going out there and cooking some great hot dogs, some good campfire food, and just enjoying a good time with your friends and family.
Yeah, I'm looking at the cameras here in the studios, and it's showing us a couple of different views around town. It looks like it's still a little bit hazy. When I was coming in about half an hour ago, it was still just a little bit of mist, but I actually kind of like being out in that. When it would be camping, you can kind of get your shelter in your camper, but go step out, maybe have a fire going. It'd be a great weekend for that.
It's an absolutely great weekend. I know I was talking to some of my friends. They're up at Keystone right now. I have some customers that are actually out at Robbers Cave as well. So we got people all over, and we were talking about that Oklahoma City store. I'm really excited to see exactly the customers, all the different doors that it's going to open for us, so we can meet some new faces and some new friends as well. I was talking to some folks, and we were actually working on their RV, and they were just, chomping at the bit to get it out this weekend. And we were able to get 99% of it done and let them go ahead and use their RV, because the 1% that we didn't have done, we're just waiting on parts and stuff. And it was just a little minor accessory that's out in their outdoor kitchen. And so I was working on their refrigerator, actually. And so we were getting that all swapped out. And they said that they would be all right with sacrificing just this one weekend with not having that fridge. And so they'll be back out and fully functioning next week. But we wanted to make sure that the customers could go out there and camping, because that's really what it's all about. Whenever you come and get serviced, we want to make sure that you're in. We want to make sure that you get out quickly, but we want to make sure the job is done right, because there's nothing worse than getting to a campsite and having a problem. So if you haven't got your RV out and you haven't been going through your annual inspections or seasonal inspections, I would highly encourage you to do that. And if you need winterized, that's kind of one of those tasks that you do seasonally based. And in Oklahoma, we don't have a real great risk of seeing those sub-zero temperatures for extended amounts of time. But if you're not going to use your camper, or you just want to make sure that you're better safe than sorry, give us a call, because we can get you taken care of. We have a great winterization deal right now, and winterizations are starting at only $98.50. And so that's a great bargain. You don't have to go take any covers off. You don't have to switch any valves. You don't have to blow any lines. We will take care of it all for you. And typically we can do that while you wait. So give us a call ahead of time. That way you can make sure that you're scheduled and you're ready to go, and we'll get you in and out and get that camper taken care of. So get on out there and start using them.
You mentioned your Oklahoma City location that's soon to come. How's that going? I know you're probably starting the construction process soon.
It is. So up there, it's on the outskirts of Oklahoma City. It's actually in Goldsby, like I was saying, and we've made some really big steps with that this last week. So we actually got the buildings ordered. So Wade got that all ordered, and they are getting those shipped down to us currently. But before you make a building, you got to have a foundation. And so they actually did break ground. And so that operation is up and going. We are making progressive steps every single day. And so this week, they're actually going to be pouring the concrete. So it'll be really cool. I'm looking forward to maybe being able to sneak out there, maybe go by that World Show that I was talking about, see a little bit of some horse showing, and then also video. Everyone can see exactly what the new location looks like. If you've been wondering kind of about where the location is, what the property is going to look like, we have a really cool video on our Facebook page that actually showcases all of that. And so you can see if it's going to be close to you. It's really cool. I went to go pick up a camper from one of my good friends, Trent England, who lives down there. And it was actually only about 15 minutes from his house. So currently I'm driving about 2 hours or so every time I go grab his unit, and it's just going to make it so much easier for our customers that are in that area, and then also it's going to make it easier for us to make sure that they get taken care of. So I'm really excited about that. We have the concrete going in this week, and we really hope to have that store opened up by March. And so I know that's an ambitious goal, but at Wade's RV, let me tell you, we like to work, and we like to work hard. So I have faith in it. I know I'm going to be getting my hands dirty and just doing anything that we can to get that store open, pulling units up there, and just ready to get open, get down to business. So it's going to be really, really excited about that. But while everything is happening up there in OKC, we are still focused on what's happening here at home, and we're always making improvements at Wade's RV. So the last couple weeks, I've kind of hinted and been telling you guys about how at Wade's RV, we really focus on making our customer experience just be the absolute best that it can be. And part of that is making sure that when you're looking at those RVs, that you can fully see their functions. You can see them lit up. You can see exactly how they work. If you want to roll out the awning, that you can do that. And so Wade has been installing these power posts all the way down the front end of 75. And so it's a really, really cool thing, because typically whenever you went anywhere in town, you would go look at the RV, and if it was a little bit of a chilly day, it would probably be pretty chilly in there. And more so from my experience in the summer, when people are out there at the lakes and getting some new campers and upgrading a lot of the time, it would be very, very warm. And so by having those power posts, what it allows us to do is go ahead and check all of those boxes off that list. So whenever you come to Wade's RV and you're looking at our high-end motorhomes, you're looking at our fifth wheels, you're looking at our travel trailers, because folks, if you didn't know, we have it all. We have A's, B's, and C's in motorhomes in stock right now. And we also have every type of RV that there is. We have travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, and also those great toy haulers. So if you're looking for any of that, we have it. And we're also going to make sure that you're going to have the best experience. Now, Skylar, I don't know about you, but whenever I'm traveling down the road, I usually like to find a QT to stop at many times or a come and go. And the reason why is because you know the standard that's already in place. You know it's going to be a clean store. You know the gas pumps are going to work and you're not really going to have any problems. And that's exactly what we're focused on, is making sure that our customers are going to have that same experience whenever they come to Wade's RV. They're going to know where the parts department is. They're going to know where the service desk is, but more importantly, they're going to have that great experience. They know that whenever they come to see our RVs versus everyone else's, that it's going to be to that next level of experience. So you're going to be able to enjoy a clean RV. If you're looking at a used one, once again, I was talking about that power. You're going to be able to experience that RV powered up so you can have it either warmed up or cooled down for you. And so it just has totally changed the way that people look at RVs. And I'm really glad that Wade's RV is on the cutting edge of that technology and just taking care of their customers.
Need to take a break? You're listening to Camping with Wade's RV. If you have an issue with your RV, you want Willie D to probably advise you through that, we can do that. Or if you just want to know more about it, give us a call, 918-460-KRMG, or text us, 70123. Start your text with KRMG and then your message, 70123. It's Camping with Wade's RV on
Every Saturday at noon on 1023 KRMG, Tulsa's News and...
Welcome back. It's Camping with Wade's RV on 1023 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Skyler Cooper here along with Willie D from Wade's RV. If you want to join the show, camping questions or RV help you need, just give us a call, 918-460-KRMG, 918-460-5764, or text us at 70123. Willie D, I know you did some delivery diaries throughout the week, and we'll talk about that. First, though, I want to say, if you're going to have that Oklahoma City store, maybe we'll save you some driving and recruit someone else to do a little bit of that.
Yes, hopefully. It might save me a little bit of driving, but I love hanging out in OKC, so I know I'm going to be putting a few miles on the old Cadillac, and that's not necessarily a problem with me. I just wish there was more hours in the day. That's my biggest problem, is I love doing all the stops, and I love going to all the different places. But we do need a few more hours in the day, and maybe I can make a few more of them. So it'll be really exciting whenever that gets up and going. But I did have a few deliveries, and one of those deliveries was actually for KRMG and the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and that was really cool to be a part of. Skylar, did you get to go down there and see that RV that we brought?
I did see it, but not in person.
Okay, yeah, so it was a pretty cool unit out there. I had the '05 Holiday Rambler Imperial, and we do have that for sale, and it's back on the lot if you want to go look at it. But I brought that over there to LaFortune, and this was a pretty big little unit. So it's 45 foot. That's a typical tag axle. They start, whenever you get into those tags, they start getting about 42 foot. That's whenever they start on those. But with the tag axle, what that means is there's two axles in the rear of that coach. And I got to drive that down there to LaFortune, but with it having that 450 in there, it just made it really, really smooth. And one thing I love about those Holiday Ramblers and those Monacos is all the air ride. They have like 10 airbags on them. They are just super incredibly smooth. They have tons of power, and this is a goofy feature, but it's always one of my favorites whenever I get into a coach. It had a CB, and so that made it even more fun going to and from that event. And I was just really thankful to be a part of it. I'm glad that we were approached about that fundraiser, because I've always seen it go on and I've always heard about it, but I wasn't very familiar with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And if you don't know about it, let me tell you a little bit. So they help children that are critically ill, quite literally make their wishes come true. And so it's really cool. I was hearing stories about children who wanted, clubhouses and even an RV trip, stuff like that. And these folks make it come together. And so it's really cool. And it's a really great way to not just help the community, but help our children. And it's a great way, and it was a great way to give back. So if you do want to help with that cause, go ahead and look up Make-A-Wish Oklahoma, and I'm sure they can get you in touch with the right resources to help in the best way possible, whether that's monetary or if it's volunteering your time. That's one thing that a lot of people forget about, is you can donate money, but let's say maybe you don't have a ton right now. Well, go donate some of your time if you have a little bit of that and help this great cause. So that was the first delivery that I had this week. And the second one got a little bit more interesting. It wasn't necessarily just driving from Glenpool over to LaFortune. I actually went out to my hometown of Beggs, Oklahoma, and I was delivering a unit that they were going to use as a deer camp trailer. And so if you're not a hunter, you may not be familiar, but deer camp is usually very secluded, and it's usually way back in the woods. And so these folks, they had been working all week on getting this trail and this path cut out, And whenever I pulled up, many times people, just want you to just drop it in the driveway, drop it over to the side. But I did notice this trail over to the left, and I got out, introduced myself. I hadn't met the customers yet, told them, for one, their unit was awesome and it pulled really great going down the road. But, just, hey, where do you want this thing? And kind of get a game plan. Many times I give you guys tips on what to do if you are going to a spot that you're unfamiliar with. And the first thing I do is, if I can't see my end destination, is I go and I walk it. And so that's exactly what we did. Was we started hiking through the woods and going, and they were explaining, all the work that they did, and they did quite a bit of work. It was definitely quite the job. I'm not sure how long it exactly took them to do that, but whenever we got to the location, I started to see a few problems maybe, but I kept positive. I've gone through many deliveries and I have not had one beat me yet, as I knock on wood. And so I had confidence and I had faith, and more importantly, I had a chainsaw. And so we started, we got a game plan, and I walked back to the truck and I jumped back in there, and I had to shift it in 4-wheel drive. Like I said, this was very off-road, and in 4-wheel drive, you can't necessarily turn as sharp as what you typically can. So I was kind of going back and forth into 4-wheel drive, depending on these turns and pivots, because the unit that I was bringing out there was about 42 foot long, and it had 3 axles. Typically, you only see that on a toy hauler, but this thing was a long son of a gun. And so I was navigating and I pulled through there, and there was a couple times that we actually had to stop, get up on the unit, cut the tree branches out, because the membrane that's on the top of those RVs, you don't want to have that rip or puncture or anything like that, because that's going to start to cause water leaks, just depending on where it rips, obviously. So if you start that, it's kind of a hard process to stop. So we wanted to make sure that we didn't have any problems with that. And so we got up there and we were cutting some trees, and that's just where it began. So we got all those trees cut, and then we actually ended up going to that final curve. And on that final curve and wraparound, there was actually this very large standing tree there, and there was a few branches that we cut with that, but we had to go ahead and fall a whole nother tree. And so I was out there for quite some time. Luckily, they had 2 chainsaws, like I said, and so I was actually out there able to help them cut it up and get it done. And I have a really cool picture of that. So if you come by the store this week, I can show you. And what it just reminds me of how much that Wade's RV is willing to go that extra mile. Not necessarily just myself, but I hear this from many different people. All the sales guys, a lot of them do deliveries. I do a majority of them, so we can keep them there, and that way I can get out and I can meet all of our great customers and just make more relationships with folks. But
well, I think that was a good timing that he had a little cutout, because we got to go to break anyway. It's Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG. We'll wrap that up when we get back from the news on KRMG. If you want to join the show, 918-460-5764, or you can text us, type KRMG and then your question to 70123. We've got one coming in here, so we'll get that with Willie D. Answer your question right after the break. We'll check the news and the rainy forecast, which I think will clear up a little later. This is Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG.
102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
Welcome back. It's Camping with Wade's RV on KRMG. I'm Skyler Cooper along with Willie D from Wade's RV. If you want to join us, text us 70123. Type KRMG and then your question to 70123, or give us a call the old-fashioned way, 918-460 KRMG 460-5764. Willie D got a question for you from the texters. We'll get to that in just a moment, but first let's remind everybody where to find you at Wade's RV.
So there's a couple different ways to find us, but we physically are located at 161st and Highway 75. That's what we call the Wade's RV Supercenter. And so that's where we have our shop. We have storage. We also have a parts store there, and you can always find a great deal there as well. So if you want to come by and see us, we're going to be out there until 5 p.m. today, folks. So come on out and see us. And let's say you're working like me on the weekends and you can't get out. We are open until 5 p.m. in the evenings as well. So come on out and see us. We'd like to take care of you. And if you're on your way, give us a call and we can get that RV set up and make sure that it is just perfect whenever you arrive. And that way you already know someone whenever you walk in the door. So we like to make sure that it's just as smooth as possible to help you out with that. And we've really been encouraging people, now's the time to get out and go camping. And the reason why, is you don't have to wear a face mask whenever you're camping. Whenever you're out in the wilderness and you're away from people, you're away from all the craziness and all the corona that's going on right now. And you can go out and you can get a fresh breath of air. And so get on out there and enjoy that. And today at 55 degrees, it's going to be very refreshing.
For just a second there, Willie D.
As soon as I have Oh, can you? All right. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
we're going to be going up to that Oklahoma City location, like I was saying. And so we're going to be up there here soon. And as soon as I know that address off the top of my head, you better believe I'll be spitting it off as well. But that's going to be up in Goldsby. But there's lots of different ways you can find us. And if you're listening on one of the apps or streaming services, get on YouTube, get on Facebook, get on Instagram, and meet us over there at Wade's RV. We have lots of different videos. If you want to learn different things about how to do certain tasks to your camper, I have lots of great how-to videos, lots of walkthrough videos. Get to know us. We'd like to get to know you, and we'd like to take care of you in any way that we can RV-wise. One thing that we always preach at Wade's RV is it does not matter where you bought your unit. We will still work on it for you. So even if you bought your unit somewhere else, Wade's RV wants to take care of you after the fact. And so come on by. We can handle your warranty needs. We can handle your servicing needs. Handle anything you need. If you need an that's what we got it. If you need it fixed, we can.
All right, Willie D, let's jump into our question here. Texter at 70123 wants to know if you have any experience RVing and taking a horse along with you. So I'm assuming they want to know how you would haul the horse and an RV, or if there's one that does both.
Well, I actually was talking to my good friend Jimmy Dishman about that this week, so this is a very relevant text. But whenever you're camping with a horse, me, myself, I actually have a horse trailer that has living quarters in it. And so whenever I go out, it's very much an RV on the road itself. And so in the back, basically, I have my horse, which goes everywhere with me. And what's really cool is you can go to different camp parks and stuff, and they will actually have a horse area. And so whenever you back up your horse trailer to that state park, your spot, let's say spot 15, many times they actually have a corral back there. And so you can put water back there. You can put your feed out. You can put hay out, and it makes it very convenient. And it's really cool because a lot of the Oklahoma State parks, they actually have horse riding trails. And so you can get out and use your horse maybe a different way. A lot of people rodeo with their horse, but a lot of people also trail ride and stuff with their horses as well. So there's many different things that you can do. So for one, you can bring your horse trailer or your living quarters horse trailer, just depends on what you're doing. As the girl campers always say, which I'm a big fan of, is there's no wrong way to camp. And so if you can come up with a configuration and a setup that goes in a spot, you can be camping with your horse. Now, on the flip side of that, is there a camper that you can put your horse in? Well, you can get a living quarters horse trailer, but many times people, whenever they're only hauling one or two horses around, they prefer to go ahead and get a toy hauler. And here is why. Because you can get a toy hauler with a 12 or 15-foot garage and actually convert that to a horse trailer, because you can put an attachment in there called the Stable Boy. And so it's an aftermarket accessory which converts the back of that toy hauler garage into a stable. And so it allows you to be able to put two horses, and it actually allows for like a little front area where you can put feed and tack and different things like that up there. And the advantage to that is you're just going to have so much more living space. You're going to have so much more room to move around and just be able to enjoy the actual living quarters part of it, versus many times whenever you have a horse trailer, you have your bed, and then you might have a slide in that living quarters, and you're going to have a bathroom, and that's just about it. And that's because most of the unit itself in that horse trailer is taken up by the horses. And so if you're only bringing one or two with you and you really are going out to do the trails and different things, I would highly recommend getting a toy hauler and putting that Stable Boy conversion in there. And that way you can go on the road, you can enjoy an RV with more than just one little tiny slide out that has a bench or a table in there. You can actually enjoy having a full bedroom where you can actually stand up in the top of it, actually having a full closet where you actually have a full bathroom where
Think we lost Willie D for just a second there. A lot of issues today. I'm betting this weather is having a little bit of something to do with that. Tim, don't you think it's probably a little more with the clouds and everything? We're dealing with the internet here, so I think it's fighting us a little bit.
Yes, we're another victim of COVID.
Oh, yeah, it could be.
For the listeners, this has been going on so long that we don't mention it here at the studio, but since March, we've been working in isolation. In fact, even, I was the only one here for 4 months. Even now you're here, which is good, and you're in the building. But it's like we're in total isolation, and everybody on these talk shows we listen to on the Ask the Experts weekend, they're all in different locations, where they live, where they work, or, whatever. And it really, there's delays and weather and connections. It's crazy.
Yeah, we have a lot of good technology, but we can only do so much when it's cloudy and raining. So I would be willing to bet that's what's going on today. But I think Willie D's probably back now. We've got that great question, Willie D. Awesome answer too, talking about horses and taking them along. I didn't know there were so many choices. I figured there was one or two things, but hopefully that answered your question. If you have questions, text us at 70123. Remember to type KRMG first and then your question. Awesome one about horse. I mean, you found the perfect guy to ask that question to. RVing and horses. That's Willie D. Like to a T. Your expertise. So that was perfect. Now, Willie D, I wanted to ask you a little bit earlier. You said something about your new inventory. You've got some new stuff down there, and I also have a follow-up question to that. But tell us, first of all, what's new down there at Wade's RV? I think we totally lost him, didn't we? Okay. Well, we'll just go ahead and take our break.
KRMG, Tulsa's news and talk.
The Experts Weekend on KRMG. And if you want to talk about camping and RVs, you need some help, need some advice like that last texter, want to know about how to take their horse with them camping, Willie D's got your answers for you. You can get a hold of us by phone, 918-460-KRMG, 460-5764, or text us. The number is 70123. Type KRMG and then your question to 70123. We'll be happy to answer that for you. Willie D, before the break, I wanted to ask you about your newer inventory. I know you guys get a lot of stuff in, and you got some new things this week.
We absolutely do have a lot of new stuff that has arrived and then also new pre-owned inventory that has arrived. So I'm going to talk about both of those. So it's been really cool. So we've had kind of a shortage, not necessarily of the RVs because we've had those RVs, but up at the factory, we've been waiting on either windows or an AC unit or a microwave. A lot of that stuff has been affected by COVID-19. And so it's been really cool that we actually have been able to get back on the forefront of that. And we've started to have more of those smaller units. We seem to like we were having a little bit of a delay on those. We've actually had those start coming in. We had some of my very favorite Riverstones come in. I think they still have one available. We'd have to check on the website, but I think they still have one because I know I'm delivering one on Monday, and we had two. So there very possibly is a Riverstone available for you. And the new Riverstones, I'm going to go ahead and kind of get off on a little trail here. They are incredible. They have a new one called the Riverstone Reserve, and it is just super modern, super classy, and it has all the amenities, the class, and the construction that Riverstone always has, but it's got a little bit more of a modern twist. So get online and check out the new Riverstone Reserve. Really, really neat. And then we have had a huge influx of used campers. And so right now, we have a huge list of used fifth wheels. So if you're looking for a great used fifth wheel, go on up there. And Jason Wallace, he's one of our sales managers, and he said, tell them we got a lot of these, and I'm willing to make some deals on them today. So go out there and go check them out, and then go ask for Jason Wallace because he's going to be the one that actually writes those numbers. He's a sales manager, so he's in charge of it. So go and talk to him and go make a good deal. That's one thing that I love about Wade's RV is that you don't have to worry about going around and looking for the best price because you know Wade's RV is going to have it. And if someone has it cheaper, there's probably a reason. We were talking to a customer who just was super determined that Wade's RV had their camper priced higher. And whenever we actually looked at that build sheet, it was very noticeable of what the differences were. For one, the unit that he was comparing had a smaller air conditioner on there. Also, whenever you're looking at campers, it's very important to see if you have jacks or if you have automatic, power stabilizers and stuff. And that was another big difference as well. And so whenever you look at that, also whenever you look at generators, if it's a propane versus a gas or a diesel, those things have large effects on value. So if you are looking and you think you found a better deal, give us a call and give us an opportunity because, like I said, more times than not, it's usually that unit that you're looking at and comparing doesn't have all the same equipment. And there's a reason that we order the units that we do at Wade's with that equipment. It's because we are campers and we use them and we know what it's going to take to make sure that you're having a good camping trip. If you're out there in the middle of an Oklahoma summer and you have a 13.5 air conditioner, let me tell you, you're probably going to want a 15 because it's going to make a huge difference on how much it on that camper. And while it may seem like a small thing whenever you're looking at it on paper, if you're sitting in your camper and you're dripping sweat, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a large issue. And so come on out and let us help you find the perfect unit. One thing you don't have to worry about at Wade's RV is people being pushy, people trying to twist your arm or anything. We are really there and focused to help you find the best camper, and not just the best camper, but how is it going to make your camping experience that much better? Because that's what it's all about, is getting out there and enjoying the outdoors and enjoying Oklahoma. I'm a little biased because I'm a huge Okie, but go see Oklahoma, see the state, because there is so much different things out there from one side to the next. I was talking to a gentleman this week who actually just purchased his RV, and he's going to start working remotely in it. He said, I am tired of being cooped up at the house. I'm tired of just sitting there. I'm tired of all of this. And so I have my RV, and I'm working from my computer. Why can't I be at Little Sahara? Why can't I be at Robbers Cave? Why can't I be at Greenleaf State Park? Why can't I be out there at Keystone? Well, the only thing holding you back is yourself. And so this gentleman has started traveling all over, and he is working remotely, and he is just loving it. And you yourself can do the same thing. It's really cool. So if you get a camper and you want to work remotely, it's really awesome, because if you want to do that during the week, maybe whenever it's not super packed out and stuff, more people want to go camping on the weekends because more people are off on the weekends. But if you're sitting at home during the week, why can't you sit at the lake during the week? So if you go during the week, you could go out there and enjoy all the campsites. There won't be a whole lot of people. You can you can literally have a different office every single week or every single day, just depending on how much you want to change it up. And then if you want on the weekends, you could even rent it out. So then you're making money on it. We had those guys from RV Easy on the show a couple weeks ago, and they explained to you how you can make money owning an RV. It's not that I've always heard the expression, whenever you buy a boat, bust out another 1,000. That's not the case with an RV. They're going to be the consumer using your RV. When you're renting it out, they're going to be busting out another 1,000 and paying you. And campers are super affordable. They start at only $99 a month. And then they go up. You can go up to as big of a payment as you want. But with how affordable they are, there is no reason that you can't be out there enjoying the same lifestyle that these people are doing. And get out there, and it's not just enjoyable. One thing that I think is really cool is you can learn a ton. You can learn a ton about the cities. You can learn a lot about the state itself, but then also nature and just the different things that Oklahoma has, the different types of trees, the different animals. One thing that I found going state park to state park is there's a huge variation. Oklahoma isn't just filled with deers and squirrels. There's lots of different animals out there that you can get out and you can learn about as well. So it's really, really cool. And you yourself can get out there, like we said, and make money owning your RV. So that's really, really cool. And I'm really excited that more people are getting that in their head, that I don't have to sit here. I don't have to do this. I can go out and really just live my life and be healthy and be free and everything that really they should be.
A good crowd for that working remotely would be the several hundred new Tulsans that we have that came here on that Tulsa remote program, where they got paid to come to town and they can work, their job from San Francisco or New York or wherever and live in Tulsa. And now they can do that. I guess they probably have to have a permanent address somewhere for that to qualify for that. But then they could buy an RV and then spend their time out. And what a better view to, crunch the numbers and do your data entry or whatever it is that you do remotely and look at a lake or look at the sand dunes or see the woods. I mean, Willie D, that's a good idea.
People are, if you're not doing it, you're just holding yourself back. If you want to sit and stare at a blank wall all day, more power to you. But I've always been more so for getting out and enjoying the outdoors and living my life to the fullest. So if you have an RV, why don't you get out and try it this week? And then if you want, give us a call next week and let us know what you thought. And I want to know if you're going to go out the next week and do it, because I have a feeling that you very well might be. And so it's a great idea, and it's something that's becoming more and more popular, not necessarily with people that have owned RVs for years, but even people more so my age. So I am under 30 years old, and so I'm in a little bit of a unique demographic here. And even my friends are getting RVs because it's like $150 a month payment, and they can get a awesome RV, and then they're traveling all over the place, and they're seeing so many different cool things, and they're not bored. They're not sitting there playing video games on the couch. They're not staring at those blank walls. They're not having these same Zoom meetings. And I think if you think about the long-term effects of it, it's probably just as healthy as taking supplements, because you're getting fresh air, you actually have a positive attitude, and you have a smile on your face, and that is worth more than its weight in gold. So get out there and try it this week, and come out and see us at Wade's RV. We're open until 5 p.m. this evening, and you can always come in and ask for Willie D if you're looking for any camping spots, RV recommendations, or anything like that, and I will catch you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in to Camping with Wade RV.
Thanks so much, Willie D. This is Camping with Wade's RV. Remember to give them a call, 918-291-1011, or check them out at 161st on Highway 75 or 121st on Highway 75 at their service center there. And coming soon, that Oklahoma City location. We'll probably learn some more about that next week. And Ask the Experts weekend continues here on KRMG. The Future of Real Estate with Daryl Baskin is up next. And KRMG Home Pros, I'll be back at 2 o'clock. Thanks so much for listening. This is 102.3 KRMG.